Welcome to chapter 4. We're just flying through these, aren't we? We only have a few more to go. Chapter 4 is about your first speech. Preparing for your first speech. Focus on your topic. Develop your topic and organize the body of the speech. Now, I don't know about you, but many times I've had to write an essay or a speech, and I caught myself and I don't know how to get started. I don't know where I'm at. I'm stuck. What do I do? And it really is pretty easy if you think about it. You cannot write the introduction until you've written the speech. Now, you can't tell me exactly what is going to happen spring break, Panama City Beach 2021 until it happens. You can't introduce me to somebody else until you've met me. So you can't introduce your speech or an essay until you've written a body. So write the body first, then the introduction, and then the conclusion. And anytime you give a speech, you should tell us what you're going to talk about at least 3 times. Tell us in the introduction, tell us in the body, and tell us in the conclusion. We learn by repetition. So if those 3 things are important to you, you think about that. That's what you want to do. Now, when you are creating the body of the speech, it's important to remember a few things. One of them is how much time do you have? If you have to give a 5-minute speech, you probably can't tell us everything you need to do to change the oil in a car. You can hit the highlights, but you can't tell us every little detail. A lot of students try to have, 10 main points. You don't have time for that. You have 2 to 3 main points. I'd say 3 at the outside. And then if you have subpoints, I've seen students with 6 main points, and each main point had 5 subpoints. That's an hour-long speech, 30 minutes at least, not 5. So you have to figure out the most important topics that you want to talk about. Explain them. And once you have that written out to where you can explain it and understand it, then figure out how to introduce it, and then figure out how to conclude it. Delivery. Delivery is big in communication. What gestures do you make? Are you distracting? I had a girl one time at University of Louisiana. She liked to play with her hair and suck on it and point with it. I don't remember what her speech was about, but I remember, it just bothered me. So, what you do with your hands and your body is important. Are you stiff like a board? And everybody can tell you're nervous because you're not moving? You need to be able to have a public speaking gestures just like you do when you talk to your friends. Now, of course, it's more formal, so there's a few gestures you don't do, and a few words it's not good to use. But gestures make a big difference. Eye contact. Eye contact is important. When I'm videoing this, I have the camera just off center of the screen so I can see what I look like. I try to look at the camera most of the time. Sometimes I look over the other time to see my notes. And when I'm in classroom, I try to look at each student's face. When I make a presentation, I try to make sure that I make eye contact with all the people, because it makes a difference to us. When we see somebody looking at us, it makes us feel like they're paying attention to me. Dealing with nerves. Nerves are rough. I told y'all before, if you think you're going to get rid of your nerves by taking this class, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because the nerves are something because we care. Now, there's a few ways to deal with nerves. Most importantly is practice. If you know your material, you can do an extemporaneous speech. That means just talk off, your notes. If you look at my speaker's notes, there's generally 1 or 2 words is all it is. And with that, I know what all I have to talk about. Dealing with nerves is a human condition. I don't know if other if other animals have it or not, but I know humans do. It's something we have to deal with on a daily basis. If you see that attractive person across the room, it's like, yeah, I'd like to talk to that attractive person, but maybe you don't have the confidence to go talk to them. If the boss says, "Hey, I need you to give a presentation on the project you're working on," well, I don't want to look dumb in front of the boss and the other people. So, if I mess up, then I could get fired. And yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. But if you practice and you know your material, you'll do well. If you don't practice and you don't know your material and you walk in there and you give the spiel on underwater basket weaving and they say, well, how long can you hold your breath? And you don't know, then it's going to cause more nerves. So you need to play devil's advocate when you're preparing for the speech. Have somebody ask you the questions, the tough questions that you know may be coming. And when you do that, it prepares you for those questions and it helps diminish the nerves. Now, chapter 4 is pretty short. That's about it. I mean, it's you can read more in the textbook, but those are the main points that I wanted to talk to you about. You have to extemporaneously speak in my class. That means you know your material well enough because you've rehearsed it enough that you can talk about it. I don't want you to do reading a manuscript. This isn't public reading. And I don't want you to be, memorizing everything because it's not acting where they have cameras rolling and you memorize it. You remember those actors, I think I told you this before, those actors get paid millions of dollars and they don't remember their lines. You're not getting paid anything, folks. You're paying for this. So make sure that you practice it, practice it, practice it so you know it so well that you can talk about it. Because that's what's important. If you practice it well enough that you can talk about it, you'll be fine. With that, I'll see you in chapter 5. Bye bye.